That little brown bottle sitting in the back of your medicine cabinet right now, the one you bought maybe 2 years ago for a scraped knee and then completely forgot about, it has been quietly waiting. And what old generation homesteaders, off-grid farmers, and traditional households across rural America figured out over 100 years ago is that bottle, that exact bottle, can replace nearly every cleaning, sanitizing, and household product you're currently buying every single month. We are talking one item doing the work of 15. And the reason you never heard about this is not an accident. Before we get into what it actually does, think about your cleaning cabinet for a second. Count the bottles, the bathroom spray, the kitchen disinfectant, the grout cleaner, the stain remover, the fabric brightener, the mold spray, the appliance, Descalaire. Now add up what those cost you in a year. According to Bureau of Labor Statistics data, the average American household spends somewhere between $500 and $650 a year on cleaning and personal care products. That is real money. And the ingredient doing the actual work in most of those bottles, the one line buried in the middle of the label, is something you can buy for under $1. The rest of the price tag is fragrance, dye, surfactant, and water. You're paying a markup of 800% or more for the smell. Hydrogen peroxide was first synthesized in 1818 by French chemist Louis-Jacques Thénard. By the early 1900s, hospitals across England and the United States were using it routinely, not just as a wound cleanser, but as a broad-spectrum antimicrobial agent. In 1920, The Lancet published a report documenting physicians using hydrogen peroxide infusions to treat pneumonia patients during the influenza pandemic. It was effective, accessible, and dirt cheap. Then the pharmaceutical and chemical industries scaled up through the mid-20th century, and the economics of it changed completely. You cannot patent hydrogen peroxide. You cannot build a billion-dollar brand around something that costs less than a candy bar. So instead, the industry built 20 different specialty products, each with its own label, its own shelf position, and its own price point, all doing variations of the same job. The brown bottle got pushed to the back. But practical, self-sufficient households, the kind that have maintained working homes and farms across generations without relying on what the store tells them to buy, never stopped using it. That knowledge stayed alive in kitchens and root cellars and work sheds, passed from one generation to the next, quiet and unglamorous. And now here it is. Here's the science in plain language. Hydrogen peroxide is H2O2, one extra oxygen atom compared to plain water. That extra oxygen atom is unstable. When it contacts bacteria, mold, fungi, or organic residue, it releases that oxygen in a burst. That burst tears apart cell membranes, breaks down biofilm, oxidizes stains, and neutralizes pathogens. The bubbling you see when you spray it on a surface, that is the reaction happening in real time. And when it is done, it breaks down into two things only: water and oxygen. No chlorinated byproducts, no residue in your pipes, no buildup in your soil. It is one of the few cleaning agents on Earth that literally disappears after it finishes working. Now here is why you were never told to just use this. The household cleaning market in the United States generates over $3 billion a year. That revenue depends on you believing that each problem requires its own specialized product. Mold needs a mold spray, grout needs a grout pen, laundry needs brightener, stain spray, and fabric softener separately. The moment you understand that one compound handles the majority of those jobs, the whole revenue model starts to fall apart. This is not a conspiracy, it is just basic business. And understanding it lets you opt out. So let us go through exactly what this one bottle can do. First, produce washing. Mix 1 part 3% hydrogen peroxide with 3 parts water in a large bowl. Soak your fruits and vegetables for 3 to 5 minutes, then rinse under clean running water. It strips pesticide residue more effectively than commercial veggie washes, kills surface bacteria, and, practically speaking, your produce lasts noticeably longer in the refrigerator. Leafy greens that would go slimy by day 3 hold firm for nearly a week. Second, bathroom mold. Spray 3% peroxide directly onto moldy grout or tile. Let it sit for 10 minutes without wiping. You will hear it bubbling as it works. Then scrub with a stiff brush and rinse. The mold is gone at the root, not just bleached over. Third, grout whitening. Mix equal parts hydrogen peroxide and baking soda into a paste. Apply along the grout lines with a small brush. Let it sit 10 minutes, scrub with an old toothbrush, and rinse. Grout that has been gray for years comes back close to its original color. Fourth, slow cooker cleaning. Same paste, peroxide, and baking soda. Spread inside the stained ceramic crock. And let it sit for an hour. Scrub with a non-abrasive sponge. Those burned on brown rings around the inside of the crock dissolve. Fifth, cutting board sanitation. After cutting raw meat, spray straight 3% peroxide onto the board. Let it foam for 2 full minutes. Rinse thoroughly. A 2024 study published in the American Journal of Veterinary Research confirmed that hydrogen peroxide eliminates over 90% of pathogenic bacteria at the right concentration and contact time. For an even wider kill range, follow the peroxide with a separate spray of plain white vinegar. Never mixed together in the same bottle, always applied one after the other. Researchers at Virginia Tech documented this exact two-step method in 1996 and found it reduced Salmonella, E. coli, and Shigella on wooden surfaces by more than 99%. Sixth, laundry brightening. Add half a cup of 3% peroxide to your white laundry load in place of chlorine bleach. It brightens whites without degrading the fibers the way bleach does over repeated use. Seventh, rust stain removal from fabric. Saturate the rust stain with peroxide, then squeeze fresh lemon juice directly on top. Set the fabric in direct sunlight for 1 hour. The combination of peroxide, citric acid, and UV light dissolves iron oxide stains that have resisted multiple wash cycles. Eighth, refrigerator deep clean. Pull everything out. Spray the interior walls, shelves, and drawers with 3% peroxide straight from the bottle. Let it sit 10 minutes. Wipe clean. You have just killed Listeria, Salmonella, and E. coli. Do this once a month. Ninth, front-load washing machine. Spray peroxide directly into the rubber door gasket, the detergent drawer, and the drum interior. Run an empty hot wash cycle. The mold growing in the gasket, the thing making your laundry smell musty, is gone. 10th, dishwasher sanitizing. Pour 1 cup of peroxide into the bottom of an empty dishwasher and run a standard cycle. The interior gets sanitized, the spray arms clear out, and the biological buildup hiding under the filter gets broken down. 11th, toilet bowl. Pour half a cup of peroxide into the bowl. Let it sit 30 minutes before scrubbing. Stains that have survived every commercial bowl cleaner you have tried begin to lift. 12th, toothbrush sanitation. Soak the head in a small cup of peroxide for 10 minutes once a week. The bacterial load that accumulates on bristles between uses, significant enough to cause reinfection, is eliminated. 13th, cuts and scrapes. Use peroxide for the initial flush only to clear dirt and bacteria from the surface. Do not use it repeatedly on a healing wound. 1 application to clean, then rinse with water and bandage. Current wound care guidelines recommend limiting peroxide use to this initial stage because repeated exposure can slow new tissue formation. 14th, seed germination. Mix 1 teaspoon of 3% hydrogen peroxide into 1 cup of water. Soak seeds for a few hours before planting. The peroxide softens the seed coat and kills surface fungus, leading to faster and more consistent germination. Beans, peas, and squash respond particularly well. 15th, and this is the one most people overlook entirely, your appliances. Your coffee maker, your humidifier, your tea kettle, your reusable water bottle, your shower head. All of these develop an internal buildup of hard minerals and biological residue, the same chemistry as the calcified deposits that form inside industrial dairy equipment, which are notoriously difficult to remove with standard sanitizers. Fill the appliance or container halfway with 3% peroxide. Add an equal amount of distilled water. Let it sit overnight. Rinse 3 times with clean water the next morning. The taste of your coffee changes. The mist from your humidifier stops smelling stale. The mineral crust that was coating the interior of your kettle breaks loose. It is the kind of result that makes you wonder why you ever bought a specialty descaling product. The 3% solution sold at any pharmacy is what every use in this video refers to. Even at 3%, keep it out of your eyes and off fabrics you care about until you have rinsed it off, because it will lighten them. Store it in the original brown bottle or any opaque container. Light degrades it quickly, which is why it has always been sold that way. Here is what this actually comes down to. The cleaning industry built its entire revenue model on the assumption that you would never connect the dots between what you are buying and what is doing the work inside it. One compound, in a bottle that costs under $1, does the job that 15 specialty products are being sold to do. That is not a secret anymore. Now you know it. The question is whether you use it. Which of these 15 uses are you trying first? Drop it in the comments. And if you want the next one, there's a common kitchen mineral, cheaper than peroxide, that traditional households have used for generations to keep basements dry without a dehumidifier. That one is coming next on Hidden Fix Lab.